EU heads of states and governments meet in Brussels to discuss using the interest from Russia's frozen assets to help Ukraine.
Deep divisions on military aid for Ukraine have emerged amongst the Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary and Slovakia at a meeting in Prague.
To use or not use the interest of Russian frozen assets to help Ukraine defend itself? That's the question that EU heads of states and governments are discussing at a summit in Brussels, and the idea is gaining support, even if some legal doubts remain.
Ich bin ganz sicher, dass wir hier überhaupt ein sehr klares Signal an Putin senden. Er hat sich verrechnet, wenn er glaubt, dass wir nicht in der Lage sind, die Ukraine so lange zu unterstützen, wie das notwendig ist. Und da ist die Nutzung der Windfall Profits ein kleiner, aber wichtiger Baustein.
When the war started, the EU blocked around 210 billion euros belonging to the Russian central bank, and the interest produced by these funds could allow to send 3 billion euros per year to Ukraine. The Kremlin has already said that it would be an unprecedented violation of international law.
I think that it should contribute not only to reconstruction of Ukraine, but also to the defense needs of Ukraine.
Europe is also looking for money to increase its defence capacities. The project, according to the President of the Council, Charles Michel, is to put Europe's economy on a war footing. One of the proposals on the table is the creation of defence Eurobonds, an idea that divides member states, as not all are in favour of issuing common debt, especially Germany and the Netherlands. But France and Greece, among others, support it.
Είναι όμως απολύτως σαφές ότι αν η Ευρώπη θέλει πραγματικά να παραμείνει θωρακισμένη αμυντικά, θα πρέπει να εξετάσει νέους τρόπους για τη χρηματοδότηση των αμυντικών δαπανών. Και εδώ αναφέρομαι συγκεκριμένα στη δυνατότητα η Ευρώπη να μπορέσει να εκδώσει ευρωομόλογα, τα οποία θα χρησιμοποιηθούν αποκλειστικά και μόνο για την αμυντική της θωράκιση.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres also attended the summit as European leaders try to put aside their differences on the Israel-Gaza war and call for an immediate humanitarian pause leading to a sustainable ceasefire.
Deep divisions on military aid for Ukraine have emerged among the Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary and Slovakia at a meeting in Prague. The so-called Visegrad 4 group normally seeks to find common ground on areas of mutual interest. But Hungary and Slovakia are opposed to a new Czech-led alliance, sourcing artillery shells to send to Kyiv. Warsaw is an enthusiastic supporter of the initiative.
I'd like to end by congratulating and thanking the Czech Republic, everybody who contributed to having this excellent idea of the ammunition initiative. We are very happy to contribute not only financially, but to a very efficient logistical operation.
While condemning Russia's invasion, Hungary and Slovakia say they have to put national interests first.
What was very important for us, we have to fight for our national interest. As you might know, that Slovakia is very dependent on gas and nuclear fuel from Russia.
Last week, Germany and France also said they would contribute to the Czech scheme. But Chancellor Olaf Scholz reaffirmed his country would not be sending long-range missiles to Ukraine. 36 countries, including from the G7, EU and UN, met in Cyprus on Thursday to discuss the war in Gaza. The US announced it was working to prepare a landing jetty to facilitate aid to Gaza by sea, which could be ready before the 1st of May. The delegates also touched on the new humanitarian corridor to Gaza, Amalthea, as well as how to bypass Gaza's naval blockade.
How many boats, how many vessels? And the answer is as many as possible, provided that this is what the system, the plan can manage in terms of operational capacity. We have to remember that there are limitations in terms of the reception and the distribution, and the whole point is not just to stockpile aid here and waiting for it to go to Gaza. It's about a quick turnaround so that we are as efficient as possible.
With the food crisis escalating in the Gaza Strip, parachute aid drops continued on Thursday, but cannot fully address the problem. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Cairo, Egypt on Thursday in an attempt to increase humanitarian aid deliveries to Gaza, negotiate a ceasefire and reach an agreement for the release of Israeli hostages. Blinken will also stop off in Saudi Arabia before travelling to Israel on Friday.
These were the scenes in Dublin last weekend when scores of asylum seekers were forced to sleep outside the International Protection Office in tents without electricity, running water or sanitation. The experience for those seeking shelter created a humanitarian crisis in itself. As we attempted to conduct an interview, we were met by an angry protester whose sentiment was that the Irish state is treating asylum seekers as a greater priority while 14,000 Irish people remain homeless.
These are illegal migrants looking for free accommodation in Ireland. What about the Irish homeless and your NGOs looking after them? You don't care about the Irish homeless. You're jumping on the bandwagon. You don't care about the Irish people. You're here jumping on the bandwagon. No, we need homes for the Irish 14,000 Irish homeless families.
Jed from Jordan, speaking through an interpreter, said the conditions in recent weeks were awful.
The situation was very bad. There was no services at all. There was no toilets, no showers. They haven't showered for a week. They have no idea what to do. It was raining on them, raining on the tents, and it was very cold.
The Irish government moved some of those living in tents to alternative accommodation. However, the way new asylum seekers in Ireland are being treated has enraged opposition members in the Irish Parliament who are accusing the government of creating a culture war.
Between dereliction, empty properties, overpricing, not building enough social housing, not having enough affordable housing for young people who are working and who want to buy their own property. They've made an absolute bags of it, and they're compounding that by creating a culture war between refugees and homeless Irish people. I don't accept that.
The Irish government says it is doing all it can to house asylum seekers relative to available accommodation, but many observers believe that poor treatment of refugees is proof that the days of an open Irish welcome are coming to an end.
There's a growing feeling here that the inhumane scenes witnessed here in recent weeks may be part of an Irish government message. And that message is that if people are thinking of coming to Ireland and seeking refuge, then maybe they should consider going elsewhere. This is Ken Murray for Euronews in Dublin.
A Polish mine near the Czech border will continue operating for now, following the latest in a series of contradictory court rulings. After a long battle with environmentalists, Turo has been allowed to operate under a temporary concession.
Orzeczenie w USA nie oznacza wstrzymania działalności turoszowskiego kompleksu energetycznego, który będzie nadal mógł dostarczać energię elektryczną. Kopalnia Turów bardzo dokładnie wypełnia zobowiązania z decyzji środowiskowej wydanej przez Generalnego Dyrektora Ochrony Środowiska. Realizuje przy tym szereg inwestycji, a także działań proekologicznych, które mają na celu ograniczenie jej wpływu na pobliskie tereny.
With many mines already closed, the fate of miners is in question. Some, however, are trying to train in other professions, like in the green energy sector and wind farms.
Szukam innej alternatywy w momencie, gdy moja kopalnia miałaby pójść do likwidacji, żeby mieć możliwość płynnego zmienienia branży. To nie jest zbyt duży problem, ponieważ praca jest podobna. Tutaj na wiatrakach mamy też do czynienia z dużymi maszynami i niebezpieczeństwem jest wysokość.
Wind farms are gaining popularity in Poland and across Europe as this cheap raw material can help ensure energy security.
Żeby uzyskać niezależność energetyczną, potrzebujemy stawiać około 30 gigawatów rocznie energii w całej Unii Europejskiej. Jest to ogromny projekt, który zgodnie z przewidywaniami Wind Europe będzie wymagał zatrudnienia w całej Europie około 500 000 osób w całym łańcuchu dostaw.
Experts stress that the green transition, so important for the fight against climate change, is also a complex political operation.
Dlaczego ważne jest to, aby w przypadku górników ta transformacja była sprawiedliwa, również z politycznego punktu widzenia? Śląsk jest takim regionem w kraju, który ma dosyć silne tendencje ku autonomii. Także tak daleko patrząc, naprawdę jest to odpowiedzialne zadanie dla rządzących w Polsce, żeby tym procesem w prawidłowy sposób zarządzić.
The inhabitants of Silesia represent over 12% of Poland's population. Therefore, this is not only a huge human resource for the industry, but also an important political capital. Magdalena Chlewnik for Euronews from Warsaw.
Skippers are angry after being told and spent millions in extra costs following works on the stretch of the Juliana Canal in the Netherlands. The busy canal in Limburg will undergo repair works and will be dried up for the next 6 months from October onwards between Berg Aan and Maas and Born. The 4-kilometer-long drained section is to cost skippers an estimated additional expense of €4 million per day.
Countries around the world will mark World Water Day on Friday, but in Catalonia it's a state of emergency, with water levels in reservoirs at historic lows. New restrictions have been imposed on urban and rural areas, making already dire conditions even worse for struggling farmers. Experts warn of a grim future.
Las diferentes proyecciones del IPCC ya apuntan que Cataluña y la región mediterránea va a tener un problema grave de agua, de sequía, y que estamos ante una posible situación de desertización, con lo cual dar la espalda a esta situación y seguir expandiéndonos o aumentando el consumo de agua como si no pasara nada va a generarnos graves problemas a nivel social, ambiental y económico.
Coinciding with World Water Day, a unique facility is opening at a castle in Switzerland. The first World Water Library, set up by the Swiss Development Agency, will provide free access to solutions to shortages, as well as information on how best to conserve life's most precious resource.